Alright, I'm gonna try to make these last few segments a bit quicker, just because I don't want to go over time and bore you with it. But I got my power rankings for the NBA right here beside me. So first I got the LA Clippers, and that's pretty simple. They got a nice defensive starting five with Pat Bev, Zubac, PG, Kawhi, and Landry Shamet. They got a nice bench with Lou Will and Montrezl Harrell. I don't know how you beat that. Second, I got the Milwaukee Bucks. They didn't really improve from last year. They lost Mirotic, they lost Brogdon, but they're still going to be the same team. And I believe that Antetokounmpo got marginally better over the offseason. Third, I have the Denver Nuggets. And for the Denver Nuggets, it's a bit weird. They didn't really improve either, but they still got a nice bench. They got young players that developed over the year and got better. They didn't add anyone crazy. I mean, they got Jeremy Grant, but they still got Jokic. They got Jamal Murray. They got Gary Harris. They got Wilson Chandler, I believe, still there. They got some nice players. So I have them number 3. Number 4, I have the Lakers. What more can be said? They got LeBron, AD, DeMarcus Cousins. They got Rondo, Avery Bradley, Jared Dudley. They got some nice players. Their bench is a bit shaky. I don't know how they're going to fit shooters around LeBron because they don't really have any shooters, really. I mean, they got Caldwell Pope back, but he's not really that knockdown shooter that you want. And they're going to have trouble spitting in early, but that's the way I see them. 4th in my power rankings. Next, I have the Utah Jazz at number 5. They had a tremendous offseason, but they're not better than the teams that I mentioned before. The 76ers also had a great offseason, but they lost a lot of that mental toughness, that grit with Jimmy Butler. They got some of it back with Al Horford, Josh Richardson. They still got a nice team, but I don't think it's going to be as great as last year. It's going to be a bit more competitive in the East, though, because a lot of the teams in the East kind of fell off. At 7, I have the Golden State Warriors. Now, they are really good. Steph's still there. He could have an MVP-like season. Adding D'Angelo Russell could be a bit difficult to implement early on in the season, but I think it'll even out, and they will do well. They will. They're going to struggle early on, but they'll have a nice, strong finish. At 8, I have the Indiana Pacers. I know, and I have not mentioned the Blazers or Rockets yet. The Indiana Pacers. Now, this all banks on Victor Oladipo coming back strong. If he doesn't come back as similar to how he did before Oladipo, then they're going to drop off pretty bad. But I believe he comes back stronger than ever because he is Victor Oladipo and he has that mindset of, I will be great. I will be great no matter what. No one can stop me. He was playing amazing last season, and the Pacers are going to continue having a great defense, and that's going to carry them to a very good standing in the East, as well as the 8th spot in my power rankings. At 9 and 10, I have the Blazers and the Rockets. Now, I've struggled in putting them in that order, but I think that the Blazers just have a bit more in control chemistry-wise than the Rockets, and that's simply the reason why I have them over the Rockets in my power rankings. There's not really a grander scale reason of why I have them like that. It's just chemistry at this point. Just chemistry. Now for my standings. Hopefully for both the power rankings and the standings, I put up a visual on YouTube. Sorry if you're listening to this on the podcast because you can't really see a visual of it. But if you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully I put up a visual of it. I really hope I did. For the West, for my standings, I got Nuggets 1, Jazz 2nd, Clippers 3rd, 4th Rockets, 5th Lakers, 6th Blazers, 7 the Warriors, 8 the Spurs. Now you might notice, this is awfully not similar to your power rankings. And yes, it is not. Because I think that these teams have different things going on in their minds. The Nuggets, they're like, hey, we got 2nd seed last year. It would have been great if we had the 1st seed. They're a young team, they need that. They need the first seed. Same with the Jazz. They're going to fight for it. They're going to fight for the first seed because they're a young team too. Or at least Donovan Mitchell is young, and he needs it. They got a great home court advantage, and they need that home court as much as possible. Now for the Clippers, I think that they're more like, we got Kawhi, we don't really need it. We're going to be focusing more on resting our players. The Rockets, at 4, I believe they're going to be like, similar to last season. They're going to come off a rocky start, and then get their groove more as the season progresses, and end up at 4, just like this past year. And then at 5, I got the Lakers. And this one I think is more of LeBron's used to not being the first seed as always, but he knows what to do in the playoffs. He knows how to rest his body. He's gonna have Anthony Davis rest throughout the season as well. He's gonna have DeMarcus Cousins rest throughout the season as well, because that's just the way that you prepare yourself for the season. At 6, I have the Blazers. It just seems like they're right there. I wouldn't put the Warriors right there just because I think the Warriors are going to be at 7, and they're going to have a bit more struggle, like I said, earlier in the season, and get their groove as Klay comes back, and then probably trade D'Angelo Russell at the midway point at the trade deadline and get some nice pieces back for him. But it's going to be a lot of chemistry stuff. And then at 8, I have the Spurs. Now, I tweeted out before, when the Paul George trade went down, that the Thunder are not going to be a playoff team. And looks like I am right. Because we got the Spurs there. The Spurs, I just don't believe that they're going to miss the playoffs. They're going to make it narrowly. The only other team I can put there, aside from the Spurs, is maybe the Kings. Maybe the Kings. But I still think the Spurs got it. They got DeJounte Murray coming back. They got White still there. They got DeRozan. They got Aldridge. They still got a nice group of players. You got Rudy Gay there still. They got a nice group of players, and it'll work out for them. Now on the East, I got the Milwaukee Bucks at front. They're going to be the same old Milwaukee Bucks from last year. They got a bit weaker, but they're still going to be at the top of their game. Then I have at second the 76ers. It's not for a lack of trying, but more of just they're going to be a good team. They're going to have some problems chemistry-wise, making everything fit. There's probably going to be some rumor out or report out of some sort of disgruntled player. But that's just the 76ers. They'll end up at second. At third, I have the Indiana Pacers. Again, it's just me banking on the fact that Victor Oladipo will come back stronger than ever. At 4, I have the Celtics. Yes, they'll end up at 4, just like last year, but they're going to be a better 4th seed. They're not going to be the same 4th seed as last year, where it was just like a lot of drama, a lot of turmoil, and then bam, out of 4th seed, not really performing up to expectations. They got Kemba Walker. Yes, there's going to be some chemistry issues early on, mainly because it's going to be him figuring out how to adapt and change his poor habits that he developed while he was with Charlotte, such as having to be the only guy that can score there. And he's going to have those bad habits going into the Celtics, but he'll lose them eventually, and they'll get their roll on later in the season, unlike last season where they just fell apart last season at the end of it. At 5, I have the Brooklyn Nets. I have the Brooklyn Nets there. Yes, I said Kyrie will make the playoffs, and I think he'll make the playoffs right here. They really don't have anyone else around Kyrie. Yes, they have Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, Jarrett Allen, but I think there's still going to be some trouble there with Kyrie Irving, some of the drama that's going to carry over from the Celtics over to the Nets, and it should make for a good first round series, as I'm predicting, between the Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets. It should be very interesting. At number 6, I have the Toronto Raptors. They're not going anywhere. They still got a nice squad. They got Marc Gasol there. They got Kyle Lowry. They got Serge Ibaka. Fred VanVleet. They still got a nice defensive core, and that'll help them get into the playoffs. Then I have at 7 the Orlando Magic. Right back where they were last season. They'll be right back in the playoffs. They still got a nice core. And if Russell Westbrook gets there, I have them maybe going up 1 or 2 seeds. And then I have the Miami Heat at number 8. It should be interesting. I think that by just pure grit and pure determination, Jimmy Butler will get them there. So that's my seeding, and that is my power ranking as well. They're very different. It's a lot of the power ranking is a lot more of who's the best team. NBA standings is more of what do these teams need at that moment. So those are my predictions and my power rankings as well. Thank you for listening to the TheGTruth, the one and only good truth. It is your host, Giovanni Canales, myself. If you're listening to this on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, and maybe that notification button as well, so that you can keep up with whatever content I'm putting out related to the NBA or NFL. And if you're listening to this on the podcasting app of your choice, be sure to subscribe or keep up with the content that I am putting out as well. And also, finally, make sure that you share this podcast, whether on YouTube or on the podcasting app of your choice, with friends and family, so that we can help this channel grow and help me make better content as well. Thank you.